This is Super Yacht News with E. Sisman. Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a lot of news that's coming in today. First big item that we've got to talk about here is Roman Abramovich. We've been talking about him over the last few days. He was placed on the sanctions list in the UK a few days ago, just before his vessel departed, or just after his vessel departed Barcelona, right? And I talked about the timing of that being a bit suspicious. Anyway, today, or in actual fact Sunday, it's Monday today, but on Sunday the EU had a meeting. They agreed to add Roman Abramovich to the EU sanctions list. So that is a big deal. And as such, his assets have been frozen. So the assets obviously in the West that they can get their hands on, they have all been frozen. What does this mean for his vessels? Well, as I mentioned, motor yacht Solaris left Barcelona, went straight to Tivat, which is in Montenegro. Montenegro is not part of the EU. However, they have, in an unusual turn of events, agreed to follow suit with EU sanctions against Russia. So I'm not sure what is happening right now, because Solaris is at anchor there, and she's been there for a few days. I thought initially she was just going to go there to get fuel, because it's quite a common practice for vessels when they leave a shipyard in the EU is they leave and they go to Montenegro to get fuel, and then they set on their onward journey. But they've been sat there a few days now, not quite sure what's going on. Last night they looked like they were leaving. I even had contact from a source telling me where they were going. And then after about an hour, the vessel just turned around and went straight back to Montenegro, back to its anchor position. Now, there's a few reasons why this could happen. Under normal circumstances, I would say it's probably a technical issue, which they've had. Maybe a stabilizer wasn't working, or a pump or something like that, and they've turned around and gone back. But because of the way things are right now, it could be something to do with these sanctions that just landed, right? Maybe they've got asked to turn around. Should be noted though that Montenegro does not have a navy, so they would have had no physical way to stop them from leaving. Like I said, it could have been a technical issue. It could have been a short sea trial that they were doing, and maybe they weren't planning on leaving at all, and they were just doing a sea trial, and then they just turned around and went back. I'm not sure. But as you can see from the footage here, they went quite fast, then they slowed down to a halt, turned around and came back. Another thing about the crew on board is I've been told that the crew have been told, if you have another job offer from another boat, then you probably should take it. So that is suggesting that this vessel is expecting to be arrested or seized somewhere, and they're going to lay off the crew. If that is true, that statement, then that looks like what they're expecting to happen. They're telling crew, if you've got another opportunity, you should probably take it. All right, so the next story is Sailing Yacht A. I've had sources tell me that Sailing Yacht A, so the registry for Sailing Yacht A was originally Hamilton in Bermuda, as was the Motor Yacht A, his other vessel. But in the last year, they changed for some reason, and Motor Yacht A became UK registered. I think it's registered in London now. And Sailing Yacht A became registered in the Isle of Man. Now, recently, I talked in previous videos where the Isle of Man was deregistering the helicopters of Elisha Usmanov. They deregistered 2 helicopters of his and his Airbus A340. They deregistered them, so they basically made them unflyable. They also did it with Roman Abramovich. When the UK put sanctions on him, they deregistered his aircraft, his helicopters, and a plane. And I'm hearing now that they've actually deregistered his sailing yacht. So Sailing Yacht A has been deregistered from the Isle of Man. I've been unable to confirm this independently, but this is what I've been told by a source, which basically means it can't go anywhere. Even if it was allowed to leave the shipyard, because obviously it's in dry dock right now, in Trieste in Italy, even if they were able to leave, they can't go anywhere without a flag state. It also means their insurance is invalidated, plus with the Lloyd's Register thing happening, there's going to be very difficult for yachts to be moving around now. As far as the crew on board Sailing Yacht A, I've been told that their employment contracts are being terminated or have been terminated. but they've been told that they're going to get a new contract from another source. I have no idea what that contract is going to be like, whether it's going to be as good as the one they're on right now. And I don't know why that is, but my guess is that the reason why that's happened is because the management company is also part of the seizure or the arrest, the frozen assets of Melnichenko. Maybe that management company is under his ownership and they've been seized too. So they've had to go to another management company. That would explain why all of the contracts would be terminated. And one other thing, you remember last week, Yacht Dilbar, massive Dilbar, which is in Hamburg in Germany, 156 meters, almost 16,000 gross tons, one of the largest ship, the largest super yacht in the world by tonnage, by volume. And they had a crew of between 80 and 96. Well, they now have a crew of 5. So all of the crew were laid off, and that was quite public. In actual fact, the letter that the captain sent to all of the crew, I think he sent it in a text, looked like it was in a text format. The letter was published on Twitter last week, and basically he was telling all of the crew that they were all being laid off. And he said in that email or letter that there would be a caretaker crew that would be chosen from that crew at some point by Larsen. And what I've heard is, I don't know whether it was that captain, because I don't know the name of the person who wrote the letter, but I've been told that the captain and 4 crew have been kept, 2 deck department and 2 engineering. So there are 5 people on a vessel now that did have almost 100. Must be very strange for those guys. They're not staying on board because it's in dry dock. They're staying in apartments on land, and they're traveling to every day, I'm told. They've been hired by Larsen, not by Alicia Usmanov. So the Larsen have just hired them just to look after that boat while it's in dry dock. Now, had the boat been in the water, they would have needed a bigger crew. They would have needed enough crew to be able to move the vessel should they need to in the case of an emergency. So they would have needed probably 15 to 20 people. As well as with sailing Yacht A, with it being in dry dock also, it's very unlikely that, I don't know how many crews on board right now, by the way. So with it being in dry dock, it's most likely got a small crew on already. Like a lot of the stewardesses and the interior staff probably not there. I'm just guessing based on my own experience. So it might have already been a reduced crew. So it's quite possible that sailing Yacht A will end up with a very small crew as well. All right, guys, that's all I've got for tonight. Quite a quick one, hopefully. Let me know what you think. If you've got any information on any of these stories that I've just spoken about, please get in touch. You can get in touch with me through Instagram, or you can get in touch with me through YouTube itself in the comments, or you can contact me directly through the About page on the YouTube channel. All right, guys, thanks very much for watching, and I'll catch up with you soon.